All right. Welcome to the Daily Progress number 4. We are here in the home office after a busy weekend. And I missed a day of the Daily Progress. So I apologize. Told you it happened every so often. But one of those days yesterday where I had to sleep. I had a couple of calls, and then after that, I was like, I've not slept well in the last little bit, and that's an issue. And just as an aside to anybody that works from home, one of the things that's probably the hardest to regulate, and I've been doing this for like 10 years at this point, and it still gets a hold of me every so often. But one of the hardest things to regulate when you work from home, the majority of the time, is sleep, because you don't have as much of a I have to be up at a certain time to be out of the house, and sunlight does not directly affect you as much as it normally would with a normal gig. And so you have to really like be careful about self-regulating. So, I'm pretty good about, that usually. I've had to learn how to do is make sure that you're getting out of the house at certain times of the day to so that sunlight hits you, so that, your clock can be sort of reset the way that it needs to be. Um but this weekend I was terrible at it. I have a dog that's getting older, and so I didn't leave the house as much because I was looking after the dog, and I just completely lost my sleep cycle over the weekend. And so over the last couple days, that's what I've been struggling with, is trying to get back. But yesterday I got back on my sleep cycle, but I had to miss a progress note that we're trying to do on the daily. So that's not what today's about, but just a full disclosure into my world as somebody that works from home and has been doing for this for like 10 years at this point. Kind of some of the stuff that you deal with. Today, I want to talk about staffing stuff. One of the things that makes this company that I have, Serial Progress Seeker, great is the team. And the team is, everything to me. I am the kind of person that, you know, I think, I could put a lot more money in my pocket every single month if I didn't do the team thing. Just because, what it takes to actually make money on a lot of the stuff we do doesn't take a large team. But the thing is if you do these things by yourself all the time, um, well, then the whole business is you. You get hurt, you get sick, the business goes away. It's also not really fun. And, I am somebody that like very early on from playing team sports, I was a big basketball guy, even though I wasn't any good at it. But I learned how much fun I have working in a team. And so, even working remotely, and I'm in my house, in my office by myself most of the time, having a team that I work with is like a huge part of it. And, the things that I really want to accomplish in this life, I can't do without a team. So the things that Serial Progress Seeker was, before the last 2 years, and the things that we want Serial Progress Seeker to be as we get into the next 5 years, it doesn't work without a team. Here's the hard part of this. The hard part about this is, as the leader of a team, you have to be quality control. And not everybody on your team is always going to agree with the quality control. And that's hard, because ultimately you have to be the last filter for what goes out into the world, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a video, whether it's a simple little Facebook post. You have to be the last filter. And sometimes I'm not great at that. And that's a tough piece of it. But I think the other side of it is that's really important is you have to get people into a place as a team member where they are okay with taking criticism. Now, this is what I mean. There are a lot of people that have jobs before they came to work for me that the employer maybe got onto them about certain things, but they would never have a real conversation with somebody. They would never have a real conversations with somebody. And what I mean by that is they would never have a conversation where they said, listen, what you're doing is wrong, but this is why it's wrong. And this is probably how you got into this place, and that's okay. And this is how I think we can do it better in the future. And also, this is, I think, the most important thing about how we run a team here. And for right or wrong, I tell people I need you to be comfortable enough to come to the table with an idea and that idea to be shot down. I need you to be comfortable enough with the team of people that I've put around you that when an idea gets shot down in front of them, it's not something that's going to hold you back for very long. None of us like our ideas being shut down, but like what I think makes what we do work the best is when everybody comes to the table with their ideas and they throw the ideas out, the ideas get knocked down or they get picked up and run with. And you have to understand the idea that I threw out that got knocked down is not representative of me as a person. Tomorrow you may have the idea that gets picked up and ran with, and that's the way it's supposed to work. We're all supposed to throw things out there. And so when you're creating a team, the hardest thing for me is in creating the environment where everybody understands that they got to come to the table, and not everything that they put out there is going to be the thing. Myself included, and I have a tough time with that sometimes. It's like, sometimes the idea that I bring to the table as the, founder of this company is not going to be the best idea. And I have to really work on myself too, to say, because an idea got, beat by somebody else's idea does not mean that I'm not good at what I do. It just means that somebody else had a better idea. And what we're trying to do as a team is to put ourselves in a position where we win. And here's the problem. As an individual, 99.9% of the time, if it's just your ideas that win all the time, your team or your business ultimately is not going to win. That's just the way that it works. And that's the greatest lesson that I've had to learn is if it's always my ideas that are the ones that get out there to the public, then my business is not going to be the business that ultimately grows and rises and wins. And that's why for me, a team is important because my ideas need to get beat by better ideas. The people on my team, sometimes their ideas need to get beat by better ideas. And what's really hard, I think, for a lot of people coming from corporate culture, coming from different places that they've worked with, is they've never been in a place to where your idea could get knocked down and that didn't knock you down on the rung of your business. And that's the thing. The whole point is I would rather take somebody that had 20 thoughtful ideas and only one of them got accepted, but they brought 20 ideas, than somebody that just like carefully placed one out there. And that's the thing. It's like I think working in a business, it's hard sometimes because of the ways that we've been conditioned in other businesses and other places to understand that when somebody is telling us an idea didn't work and they're explaining why it didn't work, that they actually care for our opinion. I think a lot of times people let things fester with their employees too long. And sometimes you look up and you don't have a job anymore. And you're like, where did this come from? And it's because the conversations along the way were never had. And that's the thing. When you love your team, when you love the ideas, when you think you're working with some of the smartest people in the world, you have the really hard conversations with them. And you say, this isn't going to cut it. And this is why. And this is where I need you to be next. And I think if you can constantly have those conversations with people on your team, you get them lifted up to a place to where they are world class, meaning they are competing with the best in the world at things. But also, and this is the most important part of what I'm saying, if you, as maybe the leader of your team, or you as the owner of the business, or you as the manager of the business want to continually level yourself up, you can't do that if everybody is always underneath your ideas. You've got to breed the kind of people in your company, like really lift them up to a place. And that takes criticism sometimes, that they are going to throw out ideas that make you personally want to continue to up your game. You can't go to the gym and lift with somebody that lifts less weight than you all the time and get better at lifting. You can get better, but you're not going to get better at the speed that you need to get better, right? You go to the gym and you got somebody that you're constantly competing with or somebody that's lifting more than you, you're going to get better faster. And so when you've got a team, and you're trying to be world renowned, world class with a team, it's important that you have constant conversations. This is something as a manager I'm always trying to get better at, because sometimes you don't want to have those conversations because they're awkward. But you've always got to tell people what you think. you've always got to tell people this didn't work for me because of this, or this idea was good, but if it could have been great if it was here. And sometimes some people can't handle that. But that's the thing. I would much rather work with people that I know can handle back and forth conversation and criticism, constructive criticism, and get rid of the ones that don't, than constantly be walking on eggshells. Because when you walk on eggshells, you don't go to where you need to go. You don't progress. And so I'm very pleased week in and week out with this group of people that I get to work with because of their ability to take criticism and not take criticism personally. Because when you're putting out something creative like a podcast or YouTube videos every single week, you're not competing with the people that are in your business. You're not competing for just the best ideas of the people that are on your team. You're competing with everybody else out there that has a YouTube channel. You're competing with everybody else out there that has a podcast. You are competing for attention. And so that's the thing that you can't lose sight of, is what puts us in a position to win. And I think that that's the thing that is absolutely the hardest, when you join a creative team, when you're joining a team where things are going out into the world and they're competing on a much larger scale, to understand that sometimes your idea that wasn't accepted is the thing that got the team to the idea that was amazing. And you were just as much of a part of it. Maybe your main idea gets accepted the next time, but it's crafting a group of people like that that to me is the most important. And I'll be honest with you, I think that when you find those kinds of people that can handle that and be in that environment on a weekly basis, that's when you've got something absolutely special. That's when you've got something that is magic. And as a manager, as a owner of a business, that comes a lot of times into a lot of time spent working with people behind the scenes. That comes into a lot of conversations of, this is acceptable, this is not, this is where we're trying to be. And not only do you have to give that, but you have to foster it into your team to give it back to you. And so, it's days like today when I'm like hanging out with my team and they're dealing with my, I some days I have to micromanage some of this stuff a little bit, and when my team's dealing with me going through that, because I hate micromanaging, and the way that they handle it, I'm very thankful of the group of people that I get to work with. And so, like, just some of the stuff that I'm kind of thinking about right now, and I really have an immense respect for the people that work on my team because of what they have to go through to put out the level of product that we put out. And that's not easy for most people, and most people would crack underneath that pressure. So it's interesting. With the other stuff that is on my mind. So the last little bit, I have been in a lot of situations during the pandemic. This kind of went away. But over the last few months, I have been in a position to where I've had so many people ask me for business cards. And in the past, I've been the guy that says, you don't need a business card. And like, you can get away with not having a business card, but it's always helpful if you do have a business card. And, what I don't want to do, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to carry around a bunch of paper business cards. I'm just not going to do it. Like, they get crushed in my pocket. They look terrible. I'm not going to carry around an extra business card holder with me. I'm not going to have a wallet that has a special thing because it's bulky. I'm just not going to do that. And so, like, I know the importance of a business card, but it's like the standard business cards don't work for me at all. And so I've been like, looking for a solution for a long time. And, this is sort of where I ended up. And just so you can kind of see what this is this is a business card that feels very much like a premium hotel key. It's very hotel key-ish is sort of what it is. And so there's one of these, and I carry this, and it sits next to my credit cards. It's got some different stuff on the back. But how this works is real simple. You take it and you hold it up to the back of the phone. And when you hold it to the back of the phone, it gives a little notification. And with that notification, what opens up is basically this. On any phone that we scan this on, you get this. And it looks kind of like this. You can see the card at the top. But what is written down here is you can visit our website, so serialprogressseeker.com. You can go right to that. It's got my email address, so you could click on that email bin, and it would instantly open up your email client on your phone to email me, so you can send me an email right away. Or there's a little add to contacts button. And you can click add to contacts, and it's got all of my information, like my phone number, my email address, my contact picture. And what instantly happens with that is you've got that. And so I've been looking for this solution for a while. And like I said, there's a lot of implications as to how to make money with this. But personally, before I get into all those implications of how you can make a lot of money with these, uh, what I needed was something that I could carry with me all the time. And as I carried it with me all the time, I was able to um, have a small footprint, so it just fit right next to my credit cards. It was no more than what I'm normally carrying with me. Number one, so that's big. But number two, something that like I could just hold up to somebody's phone and they've got everything that they need. I don't have to give anybody anything because like my other big thing that drives me crazy about business cards is like once you have a business card, you actually have to transfer the information to your phone. What this does is it puts my information on their phone and like anything they'd want to do, whether email me or like add my contact to their list, it's a button push. And that's what I'm after. I'm after like decreasing the friction and the problem that normal business cards give me. And so, I'm testing this out a lot lately. And what's funny is I've actually done this in like a weird way before I had this version of it. Um, I've actually used the little circle RFID tags to program my business card information into it. And so I've done that for a very long time. And what I would do is I would actually stick one of those RFID tags on a place on my phone, and so I can just hold my phone up to people. But this is a little more elegant and a little more convenient for me, and so I'm using the crap out of this right now. And what's funny is like I'm also kind of in a position right now where we're doing this for some of our clients and printing these for some of like our dentist office, our chiropractors, and the way that we're making money with these as an agency is really interesting too. So just a fun little aside of some of the stuff that we're doing. So that's my day today. Sorry I missed a day here and there of doing the daily progress, but like I said, that's what's going on here. I'm really like thinking about team stuff and how our team runs lately, and uh, getting into the logistics of what I'm really thankful for about how our team works, and but also thinking about it from the people that work with me, the perspective they must have on that sometimes, and how difficult that must be for them to handle the way that you have to take heat from people. Um, it's not always easy being on a team where it's constant judging of your opinions. And that's what I need. I need people to continue to throw out opinions, knowing that they're going to be either picked up and ran with or thrown away. And sometimes in a company, especially if you've been in companies that this is not the most accepted thing, it's hard to understand that your value in the company is not one opinion. Your value in the company is helping the team get to the idea, the best idea that can really take everybody to the next level. And so that's what I'm thinking about right now. So, anyways, there's the daily progress. I'll be back tomorrow. I got more fun stuff to talk about tomorrow because we got a ton of stuff going on tomorrow. And yeah, I hope everybody out there is doing good and you're enjoying this. Go listen to the podcast. We have this really good podcast episode out this week with a really good buddy of mine named Richard. And so go wherever you listen to podcasts. Go to Serial Progress Seeker. Search for that. And this podcast with Richard, he talks about, this business that he started, which I think is fascinating because he basically has a business where he serves podcasters. But the things that he teaches along the way about how to grow a podcast and how to use a podcast to grow your business, just exceptionally genius stuff that this guy threw out. So if you haven't listened to this week's podcast on the Serial Progress Seeker podcast, you can go to serialprogressseeker.com. That's somewhere around here. I'm sure there's a link to that, and you can listen to it in the episodes tab, or you can listen anywhere you listen to podcasts. Go listen to it there, and I think you'll dig it. All right, that's it. Be good. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next time.